Persona 5, the happy mashup between life sim and JRPG with a fun new twist. You can date your teacher. In this second analysis in the Persona 5 is Amazing series, we're going to be taking a look at the development of Ann Takamaki's character and some bigger, meatier moments that show just how amazing she really is.
I won't let anyone take this.
In fact, I think she gets perhaps the most important moment in the game. The moment that actually defines and informs all of the actions of the Phantom Thieves from then on. Now, what do you all think of Ann as a character? Love her? Hate her? Leave a comment down below and let us all know what you think. Now, out of all of the characters in Persona 5, I think that Ann might actually have the most charming introduction to the narrative, and here's why. Let's watch this clip. Ren is caught out in the rain on his first official date at Shujin Academy. He finds himself next to this girl who's also hunkered down in that same dry spot. Ren makes eye contact with her, and she just gives him a small smile. This is the only interaction that Ann and Ren have had up to this point. Up to this point in the game, nobody has shown Ren any real type of warmth. Because this is the first time that's happened, she already stands out as somebody who's special. But the moment is ruined, and the scene is flipped in its head when Ann gets into Kamoshida's car. The reassuring smile that she gives Ren is not the same expression that she's wearing on her face when she gets into the car. While nothing is confirmed at this point in the story, it's strongly inferred that there's a power dynamic between these two, between Kamoshida and Ann. You know, overall, there's not a lot to talk about in this scene, but I'm still finding myself pretty charmed and compelled just by this little smile that she gives Ren. It's really nice. Let's get into the second meet. Let's talk about Shiho. Shiho is such an enormous part of Ann's character that Ann just would not be Ann without Shiho. That's how big she is. I don't think that this was a great decision on Alice's part. After Kamoshida's palace, Ann comes off as a bit basic and a bit bland. It would have been nice to have her be a bit more dynamic than she was. All of that being said, you can't understand Ann's character development without using Shiho as a context. So let's talk about Shiho. I find the short segments of the game where you get to interact with Shiho to be incredibly charming. There's an iconic scene that still warms my heart just thinking about it. One day, leaving school, Ren runs into Shiho. Out of nowhere, she tells Ren not to let the rumors get to him, okay? For me, this was a huge moment that made me absolutely adore Shiho. Ren has received small bits of kindness here and there, but Shiho reveals that she has a personal understanding of the harm that rumors can really do to somebody. This creates a beautiful moment of connection that made her one of my favorite characters very early on in the game. I didn't much care for Ann yet at this point, but I liked Shiho. Because the two of them are best friends, Ann must be pretty okay too, right? Now, at this point in the game, there's a little bit of elaboration on what's going on between Ann and Kamoshida. Ann is kind of stringing Kamoshida along and letting herself be gossiped about, letting herself be the victim of rumors, letting people think that she and Kamoshida are an item. She's a bona fide, easy A rumor victim. Ann obviously isn't happy about it. She has a breakdown in front of Joker.
But still, Shiho's my best friend. She's all I have left in that sorry excuse of a school.
But she cares about what's best for Shiho, regardless of whether or not she actually knows what's best for Shiho. Ann would do anything for her, and honestly, that is one of the charming things about her character, is her relationship with Shiho. Regardless of whether or not I think it's a mistake to make that her entire character, it's still a charming aspect of her. If a stressful situation at school means Shiho gets into a good college with her volleyball, like, Ann would take that situation head on. Now, it is time to talk about the moment that I became, and many other people also became, Phantom Thieves. You know the moment, the one that I'm talking about. This scene has, without a doubt, had more impact on me than any other scene in all of Persona 5 and almost any other video game that I've played. Atlas did that thing. You know, the thing where they make you like a character and then immediately after you like them. Before this scene with Shiho, I didn't have a huge emotional investment in the game. I thought it was fun. I thought the art was well done. I thought the music was catchy and fun to listen to. I was not emotionally invested in the story, but this moment with Shiho made everything so real for me. You end up hating Kamoshida for this, but honestly, like, the complete apathy to the fact that he sexually assaulted Shiho made it so much worse. Just compounded how much I hated him tenfold. This part of the game made me feel so much passion. Like I said, we already knew it, but this confirms that Kamoshida is a total piece of garbage, and it confirms it for Ann Takamaki as well. So, let's get into the third meat. The juicy meat. Who was that? It's a meat ghost. Okay, now this is where Ren and Ryuji slip up. Ann knows that the two of them are planning on doing something to Kamoshida, and she wants in. So naturally, she stalks them. Ann is desperate at this point. She will do anything to make Kamoshida face justice. She doesn't have any power in reality to deal with Kamoshida because she's just a student, and Kamoshida is an Olympic volleyball high school coach. So Ann wants in on what Ren and Ryuji are doing. She winds up in the palace with them. They casually throw her out, and she just follows them back in anyway. After following them in, she does the only thing that is proper of a damsel in distress. She promptly gets caught. Ryuji, Ren, and Morgana discover that she's been captured. They try to save her, but there's a plot twist. The damsel saves herself.
Is this my punishment for what happened to Shiho?
That's more like it. You should have looked like this from the start.
Shiho, I'm so sorry. Huh? You're right. Letting this piece of shit toy with me? What was I thinking?
It's like I always say, slaves should just behave and...
Shut up! I've had enough of this. You've pissed me off, you son of a bitch!
My, it's taken far too long. Tell me, who is going to avenge her if you don't? Forgiving him was never the option. Such is the scream of the other you that dwells within. I am thou, thou art I. We can finally forge a contract.
I hear you, Carmen. You're right. No more holding back.
There you go. Nothing can be solved by restraining yourself. Understand? Then I'll gladly lend you my strength.
You know what? I'm not some cheap girl you can toy with, you scumbag.
Bitch!
You stole everything from Shiho. You destroyed her. Now it's your turn. I will rob you of everything!
You know, there's just something so charming about the underdog standing against an authority the same way that Ann does in this scene. I love those sequences so much. Let's talk about it. This is the moment that Ann chooses to stop grieving over her inability to do anything. The moment she reinforces her resolve. And her resolve is to destroy Kamoshida. Kamoshida took everything from Shiho, and Shiho is everything to Ann. So he took everything from Ann. She has officially declared war on him. She is going to rob him of everything. And that's not even like the extent of the scene. There's also some Matafan symbolism going on in here too. Before Ann chooses to defy Kamoshida, she's literally bound by him on that big X. Before Ann chooses to defy Kamoshida, she's literally bound by him. Her ankles and wrists are bound by chains.
You bastard!
Ann at this point is bound by him. It's a powerful symbol that doesn't just end there. It is a literal and figurative binding that she has to him. Kamoshida controlled her life at school through his grip on Shiho. And he has a literal hold on her life in that moment through those bindings. When Ann strengthens her resolve and declares war on Kamoshida, those bonds are vaporized. She's no longer bound to Kamoshida in real life or in his palace. Now here's another fantastic piece of symbolism that's thrown in after Carmen manifests. Real Ann annihilates. Annihilates. Please clap. Real actual Ann annihilates Kamoshida's version of Ann, the replica Ann, right? The replican. And killing this cognition of herself in Kamoshida's palace isn't just some random thing that she does because it's a cool scene where she jumps up in the air and then slashes it with a big sword. This isn't her just killing some gross cognition that Kamoshida's shadow has created. This is a symbolic declaration that Ann is not that girl under Kamoshida's control anymore. This Ann created by Kamoshida is symbolic of herself before Carmen. This Ann is under Kamoshida's control. And Ann destroying this fake replica Ann that is under Kamoshida's control, it's symbolic of Ann's growth. It's symbolic that this version of Ann, the old version, is no more. The old Taylor can't come to the phone right now. She's dead. Can't come to the phone right now. I want to say thank you to the viewer right now because I'm honestly stoked about being able to share my thoughts about this part of the game. This is my favorite moment in Persona 5, and I'm excited that I get to be able to share that with you. Through the entirety of the game, there is this discussion within the Phantom Thieves group about what their moral code is. For example, the Phantom Thieves absolutely do not kill. That is not what they do, because there's a precedent. They haven't killed anyone up to that point, and they aren't going to do so at any point in the future. But there is one target that they have where that precedent doesn't exist. And that target is Kamoshida. Let's watch how this scene plays out.
What's wrong? Not running away? Why don't you run? Aren't you a great athlete?
It's always been like this. All those goddamn hyenas forcing their expectations on me. I'm doing this all for them! What's wrong about demanding a reward for that?
Now you're making excuses? We'll do something about that distorted heart of yours.
Scared? Right now? You're seeing the same view that Shiho did. I'm sure she was scared too. Except she had no choice but to jump. What will you do? Will you jump? Or would you rather die here?
Do you want to finish him off? It's your call.
No, please wait. I beg you. Just forgive me.
Shut up. I bet everyone told you the same. But you took everything from them!
I accept defeat. You want this? Take it. Go ahead and finish me off. You do that, and my real self will go down too. You have that right, since you've won.
On!
If his mind shuts down, he can't admit his crimes.
You're kind, Lady Ann.
I've lost. You're through when you lose. What am I supposed to do now? All right. I will leave now and return to my real self. I'll make
Now think about this scene. Ann could have killed Kamoshida, but she chose not to. Ann chose to have him live his life to pay for his crimes. And from then on, that is what the Phantom Thieves did for every single target. Let's examine this short clip with Morgana right here.
Do you want to finish him off? It's your call.
The reason that this is my favorite scene in the game is because Ann's actions right here define what it means to be a Phantom Thief for the rest of Persona 5. Because at this point, they're still starting out. They don't have a code, they don't have a definition of what it means to be a Phantom Thief. They are using this newfound power that they have to stop this corrupt adult from abusing children anymore. This restraint that she exercised right here in this moment of the game needs to be admired. She single-handedly is the one who determines the code for the Phantom Thieves for the rest of the game, which is a huge iconic moment that I don't think has enough discussion around it yet.
Girl, you're a good girl, aren't you? Yes, you are. Are you licking me? Are you licking me? Turtle.
All right. Now we're on to the last juicy meat. Closure with Shiho. This is another powerful and symbolic moment in Ann's story. It provides a really wonderful conclusion to the Ann and Shiho narrative as a whole. It brings it full circle.
Oh.
Shiho is such a large part of Ann's character that this scene can't help but be immensely satisfying for me. At the beginning of the game, Shiho almost dies. From that point on, Ann spends all of Kamoshida's palace and all of her Confina's story living for Shiho. This parting between Shiho and Ann, I think, is the big final moment, the final conclusion for Ann's character. Like I mentioned before, I think this is a questionable decision, but Shiho is the foundational element for Ann's character. Who exactly is Ann if she doesn't have Shiho? I think at this point, you can give a few superficial answers to this, like Ann's a model, or Ann's a phantom thief, or Ann is empathetic. But I think this scene symbolizes something a bit more deep than that. It really symbolizes Ann becoming her own person. It doesn't remove how Shiho helped to develop to get Ann where she is right now. From then on, removes Shiho from the equation. Ann is no longer Shiho. She's no longer based on Shiho. From this point on, She is her own person, and it symbolizes Ann becoming her own person. And it provides a really beautiful conclusion to the Shiho narrative as a whole. And now, to reward you for making it to the end of this video, we're going to give you some fun and juicy tidbits. Juicy tidbit number 1. The fake Ann has Panther printed undies. Juicy tidbit number 2. Ann's voice actor is played by Erica Harlacher. She's this like kawaii and bubbly, energetic girl that deserves any and all attention that she gets. Like, she is absolutely wonderful. She is so charming. Let's watch this video.
Hi, I'm Erica Harlacher and I play Ann and I'm playing a game and it's really cool. And we're gonna go find me. And yeah, people are gossiping about me right now and it's very rude.
So she voices Elizabeth from the 7 Deadly Sins, and she also voices my favorite character in Hunter x Hunter, Kurapika. Let's watch this charming video right here.
Sir Meliodas, I love you, but your cooking really needs work. It looks beautiful though. Thank you so much for offering it to me, even if I'm going to spit it out now. Ann would be like, ugh, this is gross. Let's go get some sweets. Nice try though.
Oh man, I absolutely adore her. I would have been okay with Ann actually being Erica. They should have just had like real life Erica Harlacher be Ann instead. That would have been amazing. Now our last juicy tidbit for you is that Carmen is a femme fatale, making Ann the femme fatale of the Phantom Thieves. Thank you so much again for watching this video. If you liked it, please consider liking and subscribing. It helps a lot. I hope this video was interesting or at least fun for you. Thanks a lot. Thanks again for watching. I will see you guys next time.